Welcome back. Episode 12.
Episode 12, the mic's on the mic are back.
We got a dozen. You got a dozen of us. Deal with it.
Oh, shit.
Michael Joseph Leonard, how you feeling, man?
Michael Allen, I am doing great.
Yep.
This is going to be, God, I'm really excited about this one.
Me too. We have a few things to talk about.
Disclaimer.
Mainly about our feelings. I'm
Yeah.
ready to get into our feelings. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, but I want to put out there near the end of the episode, one of our topics may bring up some PTSD for some Tiger fans. So I know it did for me when I heard about this. So
especially the way the season's going, and then you add this in. Yikes.
Yeah, like that.
Yikes.
So
you might be hearing
heads
some
up,
of this afterwards.
Here's our
Tigers fans.
that's our disclaimer. So, but don't worry, it's near the end, and you'll
Yep.
know what we're talking about when we get there.
We'll make you feel all warm and fuzzy up until that point.
I'll give them a hint. 28 outs.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. We'll see if anybody
Yeah.
picks up what that is.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
how you feeling? You good?
I'm feeling good, man. We have a few things to talk about. I think we're gonna get into more Lions because
Yes.
they're
We're a
right
week
around the
closer.
corner. We're up another week closer. Training camp. Lots to talk about there. They've had one preseason game, two preseason game.
The second one is this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Which
yep.
I mean, honestly, who cares? I did read today that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to play their starters for the first half.
Wow. Well, okay. Well, good for you. Good for
So
you.
the score will be 300-0 because we're not playing anybody. So
Yep.
the Chiefs are just going to come destroy our scout team that we're going to put out there.
Yep. Well, I mean that's fine and dandy.
Who cares? It's preseason.
It is kind of interesting to hear like who ends up playing their starters and who doesn't. You know what I mean? It is.
Now, do you believe they're actually going to play Mahomes and Kelsey and like Jones and all these guys for a whole half?
No.
There's maybe first quarter.
I would say maybe the first series. You know, if they're gonna play it all, maybe the first series, and then then like that's it. I just
There's no way they're playing a whole half.
no. There's no way. Like I don't even know if like normally they would play a whole half anyway. I think it's just.
Yeah, it's usually
I
a
think
couple
it's stupid.
series.
Yeah, I think it's stupid.
Come in and out, maybe play a series, take a series off, come in, do another series, and then you're done for the day. Because I know golf's not even dressing. I don't
Yeah.
think any of our guys are dressing except maybe some of the youngins.
Right. Yeah, I don't even know if like Taylor Swift is dressing either. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
she's not going to be there?
I don't think
Oh,
she's playing either.
She don't even care about preseason.
Yeah. Nope. Yep. Anyway, so let's all right, let's get into it with the Lions. I know. We're a few weeks away from the start of the season. Like, where's your head at with the team? Like, what are you concerned about right now? Just tell me where you're at.
Okay, so, well, my concern is, and this is everywhere. This is not a Detroit thing. This is not a me thing. This is, I think, just any fan, any NFL team is coming out of the preseason or training camp with no injuries or just a couple bumps and bruises.
Yep.
I know we've gotten word that, Gibbs went out, Hooker went out, Arnold was out, Rakestraw was out. And, that's concerning. There was this article here today. They were talking about the Lions training camp as of yesterday. Let me get to this real quick. Sorry. And how they had, this is who was off on the side working with trainers. Zeitler, Laporta, Carlton Davis, James Houston, Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch, Rakestraw, Gibbs, and Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Those are all our starters. Now, again, Campbell came out. He said, everybody's fine. I'm not reading into this too much. It's preseason. You haven't done anything. I mean, obviously, these guys work out and stay in shape. But you haven't put pads on and hit somebody in almost 6 months.
Right.
Right? So,
Yeah.
this shit's going to hurt when you get out there,
You know what I think this is? I think this is a nothing burger at this point. All these guys, every single player on the team, I'm sure, is dealing with something like this, and they get pulled off to the side because they got a cramp or whatever. It's hot out, and they're only highlighting these players because they're all household names. You know what I mean? We all know them. So Yeah.
I'm not going to read into. Again, I think it's just.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the year. You're shaking the rust off from and I get it. You work out, you train in the off season, but now you're putting pads on. You're going up against other guys. But I think, like I said, every fan, every team is worried about their injuries. But I think last week really kind of was like, oh my God, these guys are. Gibbs, we weren't even sure if he was going to suit up for week 1.
Yeah.
Campbell came out today or yesterday, whatever it was, said everybody should be good week 1 as of today, right?
Yeah, the only one out of all that would concern me is Gibbs, just because it's a hamstring, and obviously he's a running back, and a hamstring is just one that just seems to linger, and that's a little bit frightening. Now, do I think the Lions are like completely devastated if they lose him? No, but you don't want to lose him.
No,
you don't.
But we have depth. That's what's nice about us. I mean, he's
Right.
not our only running back.
No.
I mean, Montgomery would just have to step up, and I mean,
Yep. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I just
What are your thoughts going so far? We're here. We're a couple weeks away from the start of the season.
As far as my thoughts with the team, like it's going to center on the defense. Just all the new faces, especially the secondary. It's just going to come around to that. Jack Campbell, I know he was your player to look for last week, and I'm excited about him. You look at all these guys, Campbell, Branch. Now you got Arnold.
Excited to see Branch at the safety position.
Yeah,
and I think they're going to slide him into nickel too every once in a while.
And is getting a lot of love is Levi Unzarinke, and if that defensive line is good this year, this team is going to be really tough to beat. Like if they have a pass rush and they can clog up the middle, that's going to be the key. I really believe. I mean, they were able to stop the run last year. They were like one of the top 5 in stopping the run. It is, as far as a pass rush consistently getting to the quarterback, they were able to pressure. They just were never able to, get that sack like they
Get the
they
tackle
want.
for loss.
Yeah,
I think we were top 5 in run stop. And then, but our secondary and linebackers, I don't want to say we were bad. I mean, our secondary was pretty bad last year. But that's what knocked us down to like the 23rd or 25th best, or not best, defense rank. Like that's how bad it was. You have the top 5 run stop, but then your secondary is so bad that when you do your overall defensive ranking, you drop to the mid-20s. Like that's night and day difference between the defensive line and everyone behind them.
Yeah. No, they all kind of work together if you think about it. Like, okay, so, last year the defensive line was able to get pressures, and Hutch was able to
he was there.
He was there. He had 11 and a half sacks. That's a pretty good year for a defensive end. The problem was up the middle. They weren't always able to consistently get pressure up the middle. You know what I mean?
Did your phone just go off? Who the hell is? Don't they know it's record night?
I'll let Megan know. Sorry, babe. Anyways, no, yeah. So up the middle, they weren't always able to kind of consistently push the pocket up the middle, so the quarterback would kind of squirt out around Hutchinson and find an open lane and find an open throwing lane, and make his passes. And now they need to completely collapse that pocket, and if they can do that, this team is going to be tough. And then also too, look at it like this too. Like last year, our secondary is so banged up that if they can just hold coverage for another half a second, what is that half a second going to do for your defensive line? That's going to open up. You know what I mean?
That's what Hutch needed all year last year was another half a second.
Another half a second can really buy you some time. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out, and that's kind of where my focus is with this team.
And to piggyback off of that, Hutch, now Houston, we actually get to see what James Houston gets to bring to the table coming off that injury last year. He's going to be on the other side, see if he can actually put some pressure on. So if he's good enough to get there, you may see Hutch get some more opportunities, or you may see Houston get more opportunities to get after that quarterback because they're trying to watch Hutch. But now you have 2 guys that are actually pressuring. And plus, we get to see, I know he's not going to be ready right away, but DJ Reader, he'll be putting on that pressure. Right? I mean, we're going to get
him and Lee McNeil up the middle, and then Levi, and then also Marcus Davenport on the opposite side of Hutch, and then James Houston is going to come in on specialty packages and do his thing. I mean, if he repeats what he did his rookie year with 8 sacks, I mean, shoot, you can't complain. But it's going to come down to that. The NFL, I mean, I'm not saying it's simple. It's not a simple league, but what you need to do in the NFL is protect your quarterback and then get to the quarterback. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Get to the quarterback, protect the quarterback, and if you can do those two things well, you're going to have a damn good football team.
Well, because I think if you're really into the sport, you understand. We get a lot of people. You're into football. You get the defensive line and the O-line is so important. I mean, probably the most important part of your team, right? Because just what you said, you're either getting or you're protecting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they get the love that they deserve because it's not a sexy position, right?
Right.
You're not the guy scoring a touchdown. You're not the guy that threw it 50 yards down the field,
Mm-hmm.
right? You go unnoticed. Right. And even when you look at their stats, right? When you look at the type of stats that linemen have, half the people don't even understand what they mean.
Right.
So
right.
It's going to make a huge difference.
For sure.
Having that solid, and we got what? Top offensive line in the league.
Mm-hmm. And like we said, we were talking about last week. I mean, Penei Sewell being that first pick in the Holmes era. I mean, look what it did.
Sewell is a stud.
Yeah, I love him. So yeah, that's where is there anything else you want to add?
Well, so I was reading up on some of the practice reports and stuff, and I get it. It's preseason, it's training camp, but I just like hearing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Golf and St. Brown been going off.
Sure.
They've been connecting all practice long, all training season long. They're going to be good to go.
Yep.
Jack Campbell picked off Goff yesterday for a pick 6. Like, obviously that's not good for the golf part, but like it's good to see that Campbell's out there. There's this website that I go on, and they just kind of break everything down. They got a catch of the day. They were going for a 2-point conversion. J-Mo in the corner of the end zone. They said they caught him.
Nice.
Got catch of the day. I mean, it's just, they're talking about new receivers stepping up for number 4, number 5 spots. These new, because everyone's fighting for that number 3 spot, right? Because it's still not. We talked about this last week a little bit. Mm-hmm. We still don't really know. It looks like it's going to be Raymond that's going to get that spot.
Yeah.
But it could be. They're talking about Caden Davis.
Or Fountain,
or Fountain, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't know, and these are good things. And Hooker's back.
Yeah.
He practiced today or yesterday, whatever. He's coming off that concussion, so I think we're going to see him. And we, how do you feel about our new quarterback, new backup, maybe third-string quarterback?
Are you talking about Fromm?
Fromm, yeah.
Jake Fromm. I remember him a little bit from Georgia. I don't I haven't watched him play at all.
He hasn't.
I know he's been a backup, and I don't really have a lot to add with him. I guess it's just a guy that can come in and challenge Sudfeld, and I think what they're really trying to do is they really want Hendon Hooker to take over this second spot. And I think he's getting there. He has the arm strength and the the size and then the agility with his legs to take over it. I think he's just it just must be like a understanding defenses.
He's got a lot to learn.
Reading coverages and stuff like that to really take over that second spot. I mean, like Fromm coming in, he might be a practice squad player. I don't know. Sudfeld,
him or Sudfeld won't be here in the next couple weeks. I don't know who it's going to be. They won't. I mean, they'll probably be on the practice squad, but yeah, we'll see. We don't even know if the Lions are going to carry 3 quarterbacks. They might just carry 2. Because I know a lot of teams have gone to that.
Yeah, right.
Of dressing, on my 53-man roster, I'm only going to put 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, maybe.
So we'll see. But it's good to see that Hendon Hooker's back. Get him acclimated with this offense, and hopefully we never see him. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's the plan. But
yeah.
To have a strong backup is.
Yeah, you definitely need it. I mean, because
well, you know who's going through it. I know we were going to talk about. I'm just going to bring it up now, but you know who's going through it with backups and stuff is the Vikings.
Oh yeah,
JJ's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I was looking forward to watching him play.
I wanted to see Hutchinson just put him on his ass. That's what I wanted to see.
How funny would that be? Two Michigan boys on the opposite side of each other.
Right, played with each other for what, 2-3 years?
Or
was it only 1 year? Just 1 year?
Played, yeah, 1 year they played with.
But Hutch just come in and lay him out. But no, you don't want to see anybody get hurt like that. But yeah, that was the big news nationally. McCarthy going down.
Yeah.
Now they got Sam Darnold and Mullins. They don't even know what they're doing over there. Somebody said the other day, they're like, you know who Minnesota should try to get? They should really try to trade for Kirk Cousins.
No, somebody did not say that, did
Somebody said, I was like, they're like, well, they got Penix Jr. over at Atlanta. Might as well bring Cousins right back. And
oh my God, whoever said that needs to have their man card revoked or woman card.
They should go trade for Cousins. Yeah, get out of here. Oh my God,
that's funny. Yeah, no, Sam Darnold is, he's gonna be better than Nick Mullins. And last year the Vikings weren't. They gave the Lions fits, like because he had Justin Jefferson. I mean,
oh God!
But you know what? They
talk
played
about a player.
They played freaking quarterback carousel last year. They had what's his name? They had Mullins, and they had what was that one guy's name? He came from Arizona, and then he came here. Was it Dobbs?
Oh yeah. The astronaut.
Yeah. They had him come in, and
so he looked good for what 1-2 weeks. And
yeah,
like, Dobbs back, and then it was over.
Yeah, then it was over.
That was short lived.
Yeah. No, I think with Darnold, I think they're going to be better than probably people think, but they'll be like a 7-8 win team. You know what I mean?
They're going to finish last in the division. I think Chicago's going to be better than them.
Maybe.
That's just my. I think Jefferson. He might have one of those seasons like he may not have a chance to win anything, but he might be going off because all they're going to do is throw to him.
Yeah. If they don't get him killed.
But yeah, I just bring that up because that's part of our division.
Yeah. It's gonna be the Bears. I know you were kind of you said the Vikings are gonna finish last. So I'm sure you're meaning the Bears are gonna finish third.
Yes.
I don't think really anybody can predict what the Bears are going to do. You have no idea. You have a rookie.
No, you really don't. But for some reason, they are getting love.
They're getting a lot of love.
I don't understand. It's like, why is everybody already over?
They have a decent roster.
They do. They really do.
But, I mean, anytime you have a rookie quarterback and then you have a rookie receiver, and then one thing they could not do last year was protect their quarterback, and they did not address that with their early picks. So, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time with them.
I mean, I get it. You got Montez Sweat. You got they brought in Keenan Allen, right?
Yeah.
They got DeAndre Swift.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's great.
You said it. You have a rookie quarterback. You have no idea
how are you going to protect
what that
him?
means. Yeah.
How are you going to protect him? Yeah, they got a lot of weapons, and they will give fits, but they had 2 first-round picks. They took Caleb Williams, which if they felt like he was the best quarterback, sure, take him. But they had another pick. I think it was the 10th pick. You should have took a tackle. You should have took a tackle. Yeah. You should have took a tackle.
You need some help.
Yeah. Take a left or right tackle or whatever. I don't know who would have been the first or best available or whatever, if that made sense at the time. I don't know, but that's why I kind of give the Chargers a lot of credit. Harbaugh coming in. What was his first pick this year? It was a tackle. Joe Alt from Notre Dame. This is how, if you're trying to rebuild a team, this is what you do, in my opinion.
Well, what did Brad Holmes do with his first pick 3 years ago?
Penei Sewell. Bam.
Right.
He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. No big deal.
Hey, that'd be awesome. No, but I mean, we bring up the Vikings and Chicago because I really think our division is on track to be one of the best divisions in football.
Yeah.
Like from top to bottom, 1 through 4, right? No matter where you finish, I really feel like it could be a fight year in and year out for the next few years of our 4 teams, right? I mean, you look at other divisions, it's like it's always going to be the Chiefs. It's always going to be the 49ers. It's always going to be this team. It's always going to be that team. It's rare that you get a division that's like, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know who's going to win. The only thing that, from a Lions fan, you're like, man, we finally got our shit together. We finally are ready to go. and everybody else is rebuilding at the same pace we are.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I mean,
no, it's going to be it's going to be much tougher this year.
I mean, Jordan Love has a lot to prove. I'm looking at the schedule, planning our predictions, and I was thinking about Green Bay, and I'm like, man, it may come down to one game on who wins this division.
Sure.
Because I was looking at our division wins, and I'm thinking, and we'll get into this, but split between Green Bay. I think we'll both take out Minnesota twice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we all both split with Chicago, and then we're tied. Now who gets it, right?
Right. Yeah. No, Green Bay. I don't know their roster super well, but I know they are. I mean, they gave Green Bay fits last year in the divisional round. They whooped our ass in the second game of the year, and then they played super well down the stretch. It's going to be key with Jordan Love. Can he put together a full season and really solidify himself as a top 10 quarterback? And I mean, they're loaded at receiver. Green Bay is one of those organizations too. They just always seem to figure it out.
And are you kidding me? They're gonna, if Jordan Love is gonna be this top-notch quarterback, are you kidding me? You're gonna get 3 in a row, 3 in a row. Favre to Rodgers to Love,
spanning from like 91 to
now, possibly the next 8 years.
Let's just say 91, 92. I wanted Favre start 91, 92 to what, like 2030, 2032. You know what I mean? It's just like it's crazy, and I
don't. It's just mind-boggling, and yet here.
But you know what? It's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. There's gonna be some intense games. This is gonna be like Green Bay, Detroit could end up being like one of the greater rivalries.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I don't. As when a couple years ago when we're thinking like, oh, we're gonna dominate the North.
I don't think that's the case at all.
No, and then you get these teams that they're all turning themselves around pretty quickly, or what you think might be with Chicago and Minnesota drafting all these young guys. To me, that's fun.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
let's go. Bring it on. Let's go.
I think 3 out of the 4 NFC coaches. I don't know about Eberflus in Chicago, but I think McConnell in Viking, Minnesota. I think he's a good coach. LaFleur for Green Bay, I think he's a damn good coach, and Campbell's obviously a damn good coach.
Yeah,
I mean, when you have 3 good coaches like that, it's going to be tough, and it could very well just rotate every year. I mean, you could have it this year where maybe Green Bay wins 12 games and the Lions win 11, but maybe the Lions are still the better team. You know what I mean?
But we could also be one of these divisions that, and we never get this. One of our teams always made the play. We might be one of those teams that put 3 teams into the playoffs.
Could be.
Right? Like, just because you don't win a division doesn't mean you're not in the playoffs.
No. I think this is a consensus that the NFC North is going to be a very good division. It used to be a laughingstock division.
Right.
Now, I think you're right. I think this could be a very good division. I think this is going to be fun. And I have a hard time sitting here and thinking that, like, there's going to be a team out of this division that's going to win 14 games. I think the division winner could be 11, maybe 12 at best, just because it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and if Love comes out and does it, I can see Green Bay and Detroit having 11, 12 wins each.
Sure.
And tying it up, and now we're going into tiebreaker mode.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. It's going to
be fun to watch. So we're talking 11, 12 wins. How do we get there? What's your biggest concern for the Lions going into this year? Last week we talked about what we're most looking forward to. What's your big concern?
I mean, it's injuries, no doubt, because I look at each unit, and I think the Lions stack up really well when you combine all the units. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's special teams, and then it's defense and offense, and if you break those down to position, rankings and stuff like that, I think with the Lions, it's really about injuries. I feel pretty confident in the players, their ability to execute, the coaches. I think it's just going to come down to injuries.
Yeah, I mean, it's always something that you're worried about.
And I mean, if I had to, if I needed to give one more, I guess it's just like, can we please generate a pass rush? I mean, why Kansas City last year, they won 11 games, right? But why were they able to finish down the stretch? Well, it's because they had Chris Jones. They were able to put Lamar Jackson in check, and they were able to they had a solid defense and a good defensive front. That's you know what I mean. And then obviously Patrick Mahomes is a stud. You know what I mean. But it's just it really comes down to that. It really does. So that's where I'm at. How about you?
I mean, injuries are always at the top of the list. I think year in and year out. I don't know. Mine's a concern. I guess concern is the right word. It's our secondary. Only because it's a brand new secondary. Last year we know what our secondary was, and they were duds. Okay, that's just not studs, duds.
They were duds.
So this year, I'm hoping that they can gel. Right. Okay. I'm not worried about any particular player that's out there. I'm excited for what we're putting out there. I'm excited to see Branch at the safety position. I'm excited to see Carlton Davis out there. I do have faith in these players. I think they're good players. I think they can do good things, but this is the first year together.
Yeah.
And just how bad we were last year. Maybe it comes back to just like the being a Lions fan of always being disappointed. Like you're just always worried. Like, are we really that good?
Cut that SOL out, Mike. It's done.
It is done. But no, so concern's a strong word, but I just want to make sure that we can get that.
Yeah.
Get that under control. I don't want to get burned on all these plays where teams were just like last year against Cam Sutton, where they're just running backyard football plays. What's the play? End zone. Everybody just head to the end zone.
I know, yeah. Or where's Cam Sutton? Who is he guarding?
I don't care what route I called. If Sutton lines up with you, you just go to the end zone.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can. I mean, obviously there's gonna be times we're gonna get burned a couple times this year. It happens to every team. The best of corners, but I just want that.
Yeah.
To gel.
I think when you narrow it down with the secondary, can they the way the NFL is structured now is just like these receivers and these quarterbacks, they're going to get their yards, but can Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch and these guys, can they create turnovers? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think if they can do that, I think that could be the key with them, is creating some turnovers.
Well, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but corners, they were talking about like percentages of like the top corners, like they stop 40% of the passes thrown their way or something like that. Reminds me of baseball. It's almost like a game of failure, right? If you can stop 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10 passes coming your way, or, you're an all-star. And so, I think we got to look at it because you're right. These receivers are going to get it, right? It's so much harder for a corner to come up, stop the ball, stop a catch without especially pass interference.
Right.
So receivers will get what they want. Let's just hope our receivers can get out there, or our corners and make the stops.
For sure.
So yeah, all right. Injuries and in the secondary.
All right, let's.
You ready to get to some predictions?
Let's get into our predictions. Let's do our what we're at.
Let's go. We're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah. So the bye week just happened. That sucks. The Lions have a bye week 4. There's 17 flipping games, and we get it at week 4.
I know.
Why is not everything set? I heard them talking about.
They should actually have 2 bye weeks.
So they're thinking about going to 18 games.
I'm sure.
That's on the table. And what they thought about doing was, and it makes sense, you would have your random bye week for every team, but then there would be an overall bye week where everybody gets like week 12 off.
Okay. All right.
And I was like, that's not a bad idea. I know they can't do that right now because, oh my God, the NFL would lose so much money if football is played for 1 week. But it would make sense because that would give every single team a chance to, right? Or even if you did half the league, right? I mean, so you're going to have, what is there, 32 teams, right? So 16 teams aren't going to play this week. And then the next week only, I like the idea of it.
You're seeing the way the game is right now, like how many injuries happen per year. Like you can't keep this up.
Well, in week 4, like every bye week, however they plan it out, shouldn't start until week 7, like 7 to 12.
Yeah,
because week 4, because now we come out, we play 4 games. Now we're going to come out and we're going to play 13 straight weeks in a row.
Right, yeah.
And then we're going to be a playoff team.
Well, I mean,
and hopefully we go further. So now you're talking 20 weeks or 18, 19 weeks in a row of football.
Yeah, with the added week, when they added the 17th game, they should have added another bye week. I think in college they have 2 bye weeks, or they used to.
College just does whatever the hell they want to do now.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I see what you're saying, and that's a concern, especially down the stretch when these games are going to matter.
Exactly, and you don't get up by week 4. No one's
Right.
even hurt at week 4. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you're not even tired yet.
Right.
But all right,
Let's get
another
into
story. Let's go. What do we got? The Cowboys were at Dallas.
Yeah. For some reason, we play at Jerry World again.
Jerry doesn't want to come to Detroit.
No, that little punk.
All right, let's go. I went first last time. What do you got?
I think the Lions are going to win, and I think they're going to be the.
Are you eligible? Are you eligible
Am I
for this?
eligible to make my prediction?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. What? I don't think.
Shit. Oh, now, you were talking about PTSD.
You're right. You know that's all they're going to talk about that week.
Yeah, they are going to talk about that a lot, and I think the Lions are going to win. I think they're going to. I would not be surprised if they win big, and just take it to them. I think they're really going to circle that game like you.
I agree. I'm right there with you. That's a W. I think we're getting.
I think the Cowboys are a little dysfunctional right now too, and I think that's not going to help them.
No. They have no idea. I know there was talk the other day that CD Lamb might be out.
Yeah, he hasn't been practicing, and they're just letting him go. Like he's off the roster technically because he hasn't reported. So,
I think we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that W.
Yep.
What's that next one we got? Where are we at? At Vikings.
Yeah, so we have 10-20. We're at Minnesota. I see that. So
this is
that's
an
easy
one,
win.
right?
Yeah, it's gonna be an easy win. The Vikings will probably give us some fits, but I just don't see that game being
well, especially now that McCarthy's out. I mean, it changed my whole thought. Not that I still thought we were gonna lose, but I think with a backup, they may not even know who their quarterback even is by this week.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, they might be going back and forth. They may not know.
Yeah, it's hard to say if that early in the season if JJ would make a difference with the team. He's definitely more talented than Darnold. I mean, he's going to struggle. I just don't see that game being a struggle. So.
No, I think Now this next one, Titans.
Titans at Lions.
Yeah. To me, sorry, you can go.
I think so. The Titans lose Derrick Henry. They lost their coach, Mike Vrabel. I liked him. I liked Vrabel a lot. And you have Will Levis, who might as well still be a rookie. He started.
Yeah, because he didn't play much last year.
He didn't play much last year, but he came in and showed some flashes. But I don't have a lot of confidence in him. I think the Lions are going to whoop them. I just do not think that's going to be a hard game for the Lions.
No, I completely agree. This is another W for me as well. I know we're going through this. I'm like, it almost seems like as if we sat down and wrote these out together, but we really did. We really had no idea what each other were bringing to the table.
Yeah. So at this point, we got the 1, 2, 3, 4. We got the Lions on a 6-game winning streak.
So I never want to come out and say blowout. But if I were to pick a game on the schedule where I'm just
very confident it's gonna be a blowout,
it's the Titans game.
I think it's
gonna be one.
Yeah.
And by blowout, I'm talking. I mean, it could be 28-7.
Yeah.
31-10.
Right.
Something
totally
like that.
agree.
I think we're gonna take control from the start of the game, and
Yep.
it's over. It'll be one of those days where you're at home and you're like, I can step away and do so. I'm not locked in. No, I mean, obviously we're always locked in, but
it could be like that, like last year.
You're going to be winning from start to finish. They're going to get some points, and it is what it is. We're going to blow them out.
Yep. Yeah, I think it could be a lot like the Panthers game last year. It's just not you just never had a doubt. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, all right. The next week after that, we got the Lions at Lambeau. So the Lions are going to lose this game. Unfortunately, I think they're going to lose this game. I think the Packers are going to be rolling at this point. Lions will be playing good too at this point, but they're going to keep it close. But it's just too hard. Playing in November, and the weather shouldn't be that bad, I guess. But it'll be close. But I just do not expect the Lions to win this game.
So this is how I'm on the same page. We lose this game, And I think moving forward, if our teams are staying the way they are, the Lions, the Packers, obviously things can change. I'm thinking we're going to split every year. We win at home, they win at home. We win at home, they win at home. I really just think that's just how it's going to go. I like the idea of what you said earlier. This is going to become a big rivalry.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
I just really think maybe you get one year where we beat them at their house or they beat us at our house, and what
I think helps us with this game, November 3rd, the weather may not be that bad.
No.
It might not. I mean, because sometimes in November you still get some nice warm days.
Yeah, it may not, but it is Green Bay, so.
I mean, but
there
also,
may not be
snow. It could flip. I mean, it's not like late December. Late December, it's going to be shitty.
Yeah.
But at least beginning of November.
And golf has a hard time in cold weather.
Oh yeah, right. So that's only like. It's going to depend on the weather a lot, I think.
Yeah. All right, so that's our second loss of the season.
Yep.
Okay.
6-2.
Well, Texans. CJ Stroud.
Yeah, you know what? The thing with this game, like I think everybody's kind of picking the Texans to be up there with the Lions in that sense. Like the Texans are the new hot team, right? Like they're coming on. They're going to take advantage of the AFC. They're here to stay. I'm not so sure yet.
Like it's a prove it year, right?
Yeah, I think this is a prove it year for them. Even though I do think they're a very good team. I think they're well coached. I think they've done excellent in the draft. They hammered their quarterback. I did not think CJ Stroud was going to be that guy after watching his ass get kicked when he played Michigan. Go Blue. But it is. I will say I do enjoy watching them.
Yeah,
I do enjoy watching them. I do have the Lions losing this game. With all that said,
man, it sounded like you were really building up to a W. How it's got to hurt you a little bit, right? To pick a Ohio State quarterback to win. I know once they go to the NFL, it doesn't matter anymore where they played, but it's got to hurt a little bit, right?
I mean, maybe like 0.1%, but Michigan still got that natty.
Yeah.
And we still got three straight wins against the Buckeyes. That ain't going nowhere. Suck it. No, but
I'm right there with you.
This is going to be a fucking sweet game.
It's going to be a fun game, but I have the Lions losing too, and we're going to have our first back-to-back loss. We're going to have 2 weeks of sadness from this. So just for the future, those 2 weeks when you listen to these podcasts, we may be angry. But yeah, I'm right there with you. So we got through our first 5. Again, we're right on the same page. But this puts us at what, 6-3?
6-3.
It's not a bad record to have at this point in the season.
Nope. You can't complain with that.
No.
Because after that, the Lions have some games that I think are very winnable, and but also too, I mean, there's.
But this is a tougher schedule, so
it's
hard. We're gonna win.
like,
Look at San Francisco last year; they lost 3 games in a row, and one of them was to the Browns.
The Chiefs were 11-6.
Yeah.
The year before that, and the year before that, I can't remember which one it was. The Bengals made the playoffs or made the Super Bowl as a 10-7 team. It just the Giants have won. They won a Super Bowl with Eli as a 9-7 team.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. But we're gonna have back-to-back losses. It's gonna happen. We're playing tough schedules now, so.
Yep. You're gonna play a first place schedule, and we're fortunately for like us as fans, we're gonna see some really, really good games.
Yeah. No, it's
really
it's
good
gonna
matchup.
be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
So next week we'll go through another 4 or 5 games.
Yep.
We got the Lions at 6-3 right now.
Yep. Both of us.
So I mentioned it. You laughed. You said natty. You guys won it. I'm interested. So before I like college football. I'm not huge into college football. I'm a State fan. Go green, go white. He's a Michigan fan. I'm the only State fan out of like everybody I know.
Yeah.
Which is
it's
fun for me.
That's
it's
cool.
fun for me. I like talking all the shit to you guys. Even though Michigan State sucks, and we're not getting into that, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this Michigan football news that came out this week with with Harbaugh. He got the show cause, the can't come back for however long. Sharon Moore deleting text messages. They're talking about possibly vacating wins, taking away the natty. Like, obviously all rumors. Harbaugh's not allowed at the opening ceremony to talk about the natty. Like, what is your thoughts on Harbaugh? Which, dud. Sorry.
Well, all right. First off, like, as far as with the whole Harbaugh thing, you brought up like them vacating wins, like this and that. I don't think that's going to happen. Because also last year, after Michigan did win it, I don't remember who it was. If it was the NCAA president or chairman, he did come out and say that Michigan did win the national championship fair and square. They are not going to.
No.
They are not going to take that away from a blue blood program like Michigan.
Well,
I'm sorry. They're just not.
I think Harbaugh leaving helped. That's my personal. I think him leaving, going to the NFL, helped not take anything away. Because he came out the other day. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheat. I don't steal. And then the next day he gets hit with sanctions from the NC2A, and it's like, but take it away. I mean, that's your team. That was your guys' coach for so long. He finally brought you a title.
Yeah.
But you don't seem worried about them taking away.
No. I don't think that's going to happen. And, there's a lot of different ways to look at this. There's many perspectives to look at this. And the thing with college football and sports in general, there was always an emotion or something attached to it. We always have our team. We have our bias, nature with it. Me being a very diehard Michigan fan, it's hard for me to try and put aside the subjective opinion on this. I hate to admit it, but I also want to try and also acknowledge it from the side of my rivals and the people that Michigan has to face and stuff like that. And if I for instance, I do not like Ohio State and I don't like USC.
Yeah,
I don't like those two teams. Those are just two teams. And if I'm looking at them, and one of them was threatening, like it's been talked about, they did this, I'd want them to get hammered. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but that's just I don't know, that's just, I'm imperfect, right?
Yeah.
So I get where people are coming from, because you do see a lot of the comments circled around this, give them the death penalty, take away the national championship, they cheated, they did this and that and this. The thing is, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything that would tell me that, they need to be our Harbaugh was running this operation, and I haven't seen anything.
I think that, okay, so we know Connor Stallions exists.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
we
yeah.
know he did some shady shit.
He's been hanging out on Central Michigan sideline, too. I don't know why he likes the Chippewas so much.
But they still they don't have proof that anybody knew about it. I mean, there's obviously a lot more to this, right?
There is a documentary coming out on.
I heard about that.
Yeah. I'm sure
I wish he would just come out and be like, and maybe that's what he does in the documentary. He's probably waiting to get paid, but come out and be like,
sure.
Harbaugh hired me, or Moore hired me, or it was this nobody that hired me to do all this and help them out, and because.
So the rumor going around is that it was a donor, that funded this operation,
which would make sense, right?
It would. That would make sense. A donor would fund this, and again, still, if that is the truth, I still don't know how to feel about that. I don't know.
Well, I think if it comes out, let's run with that for a second. A donor does it. Harbaugh, Moore, everybody's free and clear, whatever. Michigan football should not be punished. That's on the door. Now, if people, but now you got to look in. Okay, well, did Harbaugh or someone close to Harbaugh say, "Hey, go get this donor to take care of this," and make him the fall guy? Mm-hmm. You don't know. But if it comes down that it was him doing it because I want a national championship because Harbaugh's been here for 7 years and we haven't done shit.
Yeah, right. Right.
He's out, but I don't think you can really. And it's so hard to punish a school nowadays. Oh, we're gonna take away scholarships. That's fine. I'll just give that kid an NIL deal. They're taking away scholarships doesn't mean anything now.
Well, and also too, it's just like, okay, so you're going to punish the school for what they did previously, because there's been so many national championship caliber teams, like the USC, like in the glory years of USC, like in the early or mid 2000s, like 2005 Reggie Bush era. Like, I still look at them as like, yeah, they won a national championship, but they were paying their play. They were cheating.
Oh yeah,
right. But we don't not acknowledge them as national championships.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like,
I don't think they're gonna take away their natty. I just like ruffling your
no,
feathers
no,
of coming, because it's a rumor. We don't know how true it is, obviously, but
I would be utterly shocked if they did that, and I do not think they will.
But even if you say they come out, they take it away. Okay, so it's not in the record book. But is it ever really gone? Like, are you gonna, the night we were at the bar with the friends and family, watching that game, screaming and hollering? Like, I even got into it because I was like, this is awesome. At least it's a team from my state that I get to root for.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from everybody.
Right. And I think that's how a lot of people see it, especially if you're if
you're
a Michigan fan or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The one thing to go back to Harbaugh, like, he's ruffled feathers everywhere he's been, and like, now we're at this point. He's done with his tenure 9 years later. I'm not surprised that we're at this point. I'm really not surprised.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, that he's done this, because he's done this everywhere he's been. He just does things differently. He does things up to his own code.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's one of one.
Do you see anything coming from Roger Goodell as a punishment? Because he did come out the other day and said you can't run to the NFL for the mistakes you made in the NC2A.
I would be shocked if they did, but I guess it's all going to depend on what the NCAA comes down.
What the final verdict is on everything.
And I still don't know why it's taking this long. Like, Harbaugh was suspended, like, the beginning of last year, like, he only coached 6 games last year. He missed the first 3, and then he missed the last 3.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, like what else do you guys need? Like, Harbaugh's been gone for 8 months. Like, I don't understand.
The NC2A has this thing where I think Michigan pushed back and they fucked with them so much that the NC2A is like, you know what? Gloves are off. We're coming after you guys. Maybe. I don't care what it is, because you're right. Everyone served their suspension, right? But they're like, no, that's not enough. We're not done coming at you.
The thing with the NCAA as it pertains to college football is that you have the NC2A or NCAA, and then you have the College Football Playoff Committee. There's 2 separate entities.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is very interesting. It's very interesting. And the one that, like, which one is more powerful when it comes to money? It's going to be the College Football Playoff Committee.
Exactly.
And so where does that leave the NCAA? And I think at one point, like, college football, probably in a couple of years, you can already see it. Like, it's a 12-team playoff now compared to 4.
Yeah.
And before that, it was 2. And before that, they would just nominate a team. So now you're at 12. Okay, what's probably going to happen is in the next couple of years, you're probably going to break this down where, like, you literally just trim the fat. Like, Akron, teams like that are just going to be left out. Like, they're not a part of the, you know what I mean? It's going to be like 50 teams in 4 conferences that are vying for the national championship instead of 120 teams. Technically, I mean, they're not
exactly.
Really.
Those small schools are out. They don't even stand a chance.
And it's going to be the College Football Playoff Committee who kind of runs things in. The NCAA is just kind of on the outside looking in because they just don't have the power. They're laughed at. Like, they're just. Yeah. It's just. I don't know. Like,
it'll be interesting to see how everything moves forward. Well, with Michigan, and then, as you said, the college football, and I think we'll do an episode about the upcoming season and really get into this. The new format.
If I'm gonna bitch at Harbaugh for something, it's for gutting his coaching staff. For Michigan's coaching staff, because he took a lot of like the stud coaches from this past team.
And
he did. I'm a little bit bitter about that. And obviously, I mean, he is who he is. I guess that's how
Yeah.
I'll leave it with that.
Yeah, that's okay. Because we'll just move on to the next topic that's going to make even us more upset.
Oh, God. Yeah, this one again, huh?
So
Ready to tear
this
out this
week, I
Band-Aid?
don't know if it came out today, if it comes out tomorrow, sometime this week, there's a new E60 documentary on Galarraga and his perfect game that was stolen from him. And
Wait. Which Galarraga are we talking about?
Armando.
Oh, that guy. Oh, that one.
Oh, that one. I remember that night. Oh.
Jim Joyce.
Oh. He's safe. What are you talking about? He's out by a fucking mile. Anyways, everybody knows what I'm talking about. There's this new documentary coming out about it. It's done kind of cool, and I'm gonna mess this up a little bit because I just heard about this today. But this professor at some college, I forget the college, asked his students who are not sports fans, don't know anything about this. I mean, this happened in June of 2010, right? So to study this perfect game that was taken away from Galarraga. Now, if anybody doesn't know, we'll just real quick. Galarraga was 1 out away from throwing the 21st perfect game in MLB history. 26 outs. What, it's just a little ground ball, right? That was hit?
First base side. I don't know who was playing first base at the time. Prince Fielder, maybe? Who was it?
I don't know. I don't even think it was, because I think we got Prince in 12. Anyways, getting off track.
Okay. No, I think you're right. Okay,
Throw
you're
comes
right.
across. Jim Joyce, umpire, calls him safe. Ruins a perfect game. This guy was out by a mile. I mean, it was one step.
Yeah.
He was one step away from the bag. And I remember I was at my buddy's, and my jaw, and the whole house just got quiet.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? They took away this
Yeah.
perfect game from this kid, and the umpire knew it immediately that he made a bad call.
Yeah.
But anyways, they do this documentary. They had all these college students, like, break it down. Should it be reversed? They brought back a bunch of Cleveland Indians. That's who we were playing. They brought back a bunch of the Tigers from that game. The coaching staff, the umpires, and, they didn't give much detail about what's actually going on, but everyone gives their opinion. And the one thing that I took away from hearing what they said about it is the MLB in the past has overturned calls, whether it was the next day, within a couple of days, or years later.
Wow.
So the thought is, should we overturn this? I mean, it was a blatantly bad call.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah,
that's why I said at the beginning of this episode, 28 outs, right?
Yeah.
27 outs is a full baseball game.
Right.
And he had to get that extra one.
Right.
So, well, let's just get quickly get into. You remember this? Like,
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
I mean,
Yep. I was in my apartment. It was crazy because it was just before my oldest son was born. And I remember watching. I was sitting in a recliner in my apartment by myself and watching the game. And I can't remember if it was somebody that texted me or it's like, hey, you need to turn this game
everybody
on.
turn it. Yeah, you can't say it, but you have to turn
Just
the game
this
on.
game on. So, but at
You
that
never
point,
say it.
yeah, don't ever say it ever. But I was also a huge Tigers fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I still am, but I do remember watching that and just seeing it, and I just was absolutely floored, just like everybody else was. Like, just floored. I'm like, no, they got to overturn this. Like they can't allow that. Like that has to be overturned. Like,
Right.
how do you? And you start thinking like, well, what was he seeing? What was he thinking? And then you even, God bless his heart, but Galarraga's like look at him. He just kind of turned his head and like smirked.
Yeah, you remember
like,
he was just like had that look like you
are
got to
you
be
serious?
kidding me.
Like, dude,
Like
like come on.
it was jaw dropping. There's almost no words to put it in.
Yeah,
Right? And then
yeah.
you think about the aftermath that came from it. I mean, and Galarraga, hats off to him. He was
He handled
probably
it
just
very
doing
well.
the politically correct thing. He handled it well. He
handled
it's
it
I don't
very
blame
well,
him.
yeah.
Jim Joyce lost it. I remember in here he was crying. He called and this is all in the documentary about him calling like the head office of the MLB, like, you have to overturn this. Fine me, like,
Yeah.
I'll pay whatever. Like,
Yeah.
this kid, because Galarraga was young. He was only in his mid-20s, I think. So, like,
Yeah.
you take away this from this kid.
Right.
And then things got a little weird and bad for the Joyce family. Like, they had to have police out in front of their house because they were getting death threats about they're going to burn their house down. They hope your whole family dies. Like, that's a bit much. Like, I was pissed at him. But God, why would you? It's just a game.
I know, and you know what? Now the reach with social media and stuff like that, it's just these people are too accessible, and you never ever want to see that. Like the guy just literally made a mistake,
And he came out immediately.
right?
Immediately was like, "Oh my God, I
screwed
fucked this up."
Yeah, I screwed this up, and unfortunately, he's gonna live in infamy like that. But it's just he does not.
And he was a
deserve to
highly
be-
respected umpire
Yeah,
throughout
he's
the
still-
league.
yeah.
But that is going to be the one thing when you hear Jim Joyce, at least here in Detroit, all you're going to think about is you
Oh, is
blew
that-
the call. You blew
Right.
the call.
And I think for the most part, the majority of the people that you talk about when this topic comes up, I don't think people are necessarily so bitter at him. I think they're just bitter at the situation. They're not bitter at him because they know
Yeah.
as soon as it happened, he owned it.
Yeah.
People respect that. Like I can respect that. Hey, dude,
I did. The fact that he came right out. Yeah.
he messed up, and then even the next day, like the next game, Galarraga came out and handed him the lineup card.
Yeah.
And Joyce came
They
out.
shook hands.
Joyce was the plate umpire.
Yep.
That day. You can respect that, and like you said, Joyce is a well-respected umpire. It happens. We screw up.
Yeah. And baseball, that's the one thing that, and I go back and forth, like, is human error is a part of the game.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's blatant, like what that call was, and sometimes it happens so fast you don't know, and you just make the call and you still could be wrong.
Yeah.
But so it's all said and done. They didn't change it. Obviously, all these things. Well, and Galarraga was like the face of getting instant replay because of this, which
Yeah.
makes sense. But
Right. Which is
what the big question is, I want to ask you: should the MLB go back and change the call? Should he get even an asterisk? Right? Should he become part of the? I think we're at 27 players now that have thrown a perfect game. The kids are going crazy.
This is not an earthquake. It's just my kids.
Just the kids.
Just the
Summer
kid.
vacation's almost over. They don't like it.
Oh, thank
Oh
God.
God. Anyways, what do you think? Should they go back? Should they change it? Should they leave it the same? Does it just?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like you mentioned earlier in this topic about how the MLB has overturned certain calls, and if they have done that, if they have a history of doing that, then yes, they should have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I totally believe that. It's just it's really hard to say one way or the other because, like you just said, the human element is part of the game, and then people can probably bring up like, well, in 1942, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
this and you know what I mean. Then like, can you really go back and you're probably just opening a can of worms. But if the MLB has a history of doing this, then
I would like to see, and they didn't get into this, and I think they talk about it on the document. I want to see what calls were overturned.
yeah,
The ones
yeah.
that they went back and overturned, what were they? Because obviously this has to be the most egregious call that was wrong.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah,
this
yeah.
has to be the worst one in history that was called.
Right.
Just because of what it meant.
Yeah.
Right? It was the last out of the game. This might be different. It was like the third inning, the fourth inning, and they blew the call. And then he goes on and pitches, a one hitter.
Right. He gets the
It's the last out
20
of the
outs or
game, right? So
Yeah.
that just what makes it so much worse.
There's so much riding on, and that could have been. I'm sure that was in Joyce's like brain. Like you know
it
what I
was.
mean?
It had to be because, like, if it was any other, even if it was the eighth inning,
Yeah.
the seventh inning,
Right.
okay.
I'm sure that was weighing heavily on him, and maybe he saw something that he thought he saw, but he didn't. Maybe he thought he saw the guy pull his leg off the bag. You know what I mean? You never know, just because.
I'm
like
interested to see what he has to say in the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be. It was funny you brought that up today, the documentary, and that was the first time I've heard that it's coming out, which is.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
gonna be,
yeah.
It's gonna be. That's gonna be a good one, and then you got the Stallions one.
Yeah.
That one's coming up in 2 weeks or a week and a half. So yeah, those two alone I think would be really good. The Jim Joyce one with the Galarraga one that'll be interesting to see the side they take. The Stallions one, I think that one's going to be very heavily like Michigan influence. I don't know if we're going to get a lot of.
I don't think you're going to get what you want out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the Galarraga one, because that one's done by ESPN, that's an E60. You're going to probably get more of just an objective.
And I like that they brought both teams in. They got the Tigers and the Indians to come in and give their opinions on what they think should happen. So and you're right. I don't know what the right answer is. I think in everyone's head, he threw the perfect game because we saw it. I mean, even the next batter just grounded right out and the game was over right away. I don't know if he goes in the record book. And baseball does have a lot of asterisks in the record book. So if you already do that now, why not put him in with an asterisk?
Well, also, too, it's, how many perfect games have there been, you said?
I think now we're at, it's 27, 26, 27.
Perfect games?
Perfect games.
Well, because you look at that, and confirm that. I'm interested to see how many perfect games there have been, because it seems like a high number, but that could be right.
Well, I know he would have been 21.
21 at the time?
At the time.
Okay. Because he's almost in like.
All right, as of May 20th, and I don't think anyone's thrown a perfect game this year. 24.
24. Okay.
And that's since 1880.
Right. Well.
So no-nos and perfect games are totally different.
Right. And the thing is, with him, like this situation, he's like one of one. This is one situation of one.
Yeah.
In a sense, like he's only person to have experienced this.
Yeah.
He's not 24. You know what I mean? He's one of one.
Yeah. But he should be. There should be technically 25 perfect games.
Oh no,
he should be counted.
Totally,
in that.
I totally agree. That he deserves a perfect game. I'm not taking that away. I'm just saying he's also part of one unique. Unique.
He doesn't even have anyone to talk to about that. Like, there's no one that can relate to having a call that bad taken away from him.
I know,
right?
But he should be. Like, if you're sitting around at the bar with your baseball buddies and how many perfect games you have, I'm like, he should have one.
25.
You know what I mean?
They're like, no, Google says 24.
He should have one.
Galarraga counts.
Yep, I agree.
So it'll be a fun documentary to watch.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, we all know it was the perfect game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that'll be a good one to watch. You said it comes out next week?
It's soon. It's today, tomorrow, this week, at some point, whenever E60 puts theirs out. I forgot the day they said, but it's in the next couple days.
Yeah, and I think the Stallions one comes out.
Yeah, that's soon.
I think 25th or 27th, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but that one's coming out too. That'll be interesting to watch, but I think that one's going to be, heavy Michigan favored.
If it's even true,
Right, exactly.
Is he going to really spill his guts? We'll see.
He had a Michigan manifesto. He had like a 500-page binder full of crap that he was going to be the next Michigan head coach, and he was going to run.
God,
you know
so
what I mean?
So kind of a
So he was one of those type of guys.
Okay,
so
well,
we'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll circle back to this in like a week or two, and all these come out, and give a quick update on it. But this was fun. I think that's enough for.
I think this is enough for today. I think we covered a lot.
We went pretty good on this one. We really got into it.
I'd be interested to get everybody's feedback and.
What would you guys do? Does Galarraga's? Should they go in the record books? Should we leave it? Should they overturn it? Asterisk? No asterisk? What do you want? What do you guys think? Let us know.
Please. Thank you.
All right. We love you guys. We appreciate you listening to us. Everybody have a good week.
Cheers.